Hello, beautiful soul sparklers. I'm Darci Legg, and welcome to Darci's Mindful Magic. This segment is called Tasty Parents Perspective, a show where parents lovingly discuss how they support their children, making each day better. Yum. Today, my delicious focus is going to be supporting sensitive or empathic children. I am more than thrilled to have Laura with me sharing her wisdom. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview with us today, Laura.
Of course.
For those of you who have not had the pleasure of meeting Laura before, I'm going to give you a taste of her background. On top of being a fabulous mother, you could find her at Burning Lotus Healing, and I'll leave her YouTube channel down below in the description box. She's also a powerful shamanic healer who's trained through the four winds, and that's how I met her. For years, she was a juggler, acrobat, aerialist. I think I mispronounced aerialist.
Okay, we can edit this.
I love editing. She started her Kundalini awakening during her second pregnancy. It's a fascinating story. If you want to see it, go to her site and watch her video about it.
Yeah, as if awakening weren't hard enough, we're going to add it on top of a pregnancy.
Yay! So for the first question I have for you today, please share with us your favorite part of being a mother.
Oh, and there's so much I could go into. I'll go with which is my favorite, though. I absolutely love being a parent. Right now I have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. They're both girls, and I have to say that my favorite part is that I get to be like this tour guide of the world. I get to discover all these cool things. Like, here, this is a dog, and this is what it's like to catch fireflies at night on a summer day. And, oh, this is what it feels like to scrape your knee. But here's what we're going to do to dress up that. And here's a little kiss for that. And like seeing it through the world, through these fresh eyes where everything is new and anything is possible is just magical.
I love that perspective. So the second question I have for you, all children are sensitive or empathic, but some more than others. What tool have you implemented in your home to support your children?
I would say one of the most important things for sensitive kids, and this is great for all kids, is to validate their feelings. And I don't know if this happened to you while you were a kid, but definitely happened to me, is the parents or adults in my life were like, oh, it's not that bad, you're okay. And it was kind of like this gaslighting. But when you're that young and your world is like that small, it really does matter that much to you. And it feels just like a sense of betrayal when they're like, oh, it doesn't matter. And I get that it's a little inconvenient, but what I do when my little one comes up to me is having some issues, she's having problems, and oftentimes she'll like say it's about something. It's about, oh, you didn't give me Pez for lunch, and I didn't want this sandwich, I wanted candy. And then she'll be upset about that. And I rarely find that it's actually about the candy. What it's really about is that she wants something and she's not getting it. And so the very first thing I do is like, do you need a hug? I am here for you. I am listening to you. And even if it seems very silly, because it's like I said, it's rarely about the thing that they're actually talking about. And they don't have sort of the words or the way to sort of emotionally regulate, and not a lot of adults do sometimes, I find. So you gotta kind of take them by the hand and walk them through this. So at first you think, okay, are you tired? Are you hungry? Or what are all of your physical needs being met? Because if those are not being met, then there's a chance that that'll show up on the emotional. And then you go into, okay, what is this actually about? Do you want my undivided attention? Do you want to be assured that I love you? Do you want, and it's usually, that's kind of what the actual baseline is. And when you gaslight them and say that doesn't matter, it's like, instead of saying no to the Pez, which don't get me wrong, don't say no to the candy, but don't say no to them. Say yes to the, I am here for you and I love you no matter what, because they will take, they don't always have all the information, so they will fill in the information for what they think goes there. And what often they kind of conclude is, mommy doesn't love me.
Yes.
Or I'm not good enough to get this thing that I want. And I know it's a little absurd to get there, but like I said, they're working with a limited scope. They don't understand that, you know, as a parent, you definitely love them. You take a bullet for them, but they don't know that unless you tell them that. So you need to show and that with all, like, as much as you possibly can. So whenever they come up and they're upset, the first thing to be is like, I am here for you, I am listening to you, I love you. And that will never change, no matter what it is that you're coming to me with. And that also helps set the stage for later stages in life where they feel like they can come and talk to you about anything. So those times in their teenage years when they're having problems, they're not like, oh, mom's not gonna listen to me. Then they're like, oh, I know I can be vulnerable with my parent.
Yes, there's nothing more important than being validated and loved like that. Your children are very lucky to have you.
I would like to think that I'm also lucky to have them.
Yes. So the third question that I'm asking today is, when I worked in first grade classroom, something I would do for the students would get out, like getting out scented markers and put a little happy face on their hand as kind of an incentive, and they loved it. So I call this a happy hack. So what is one happy hack that all parents should know about when raising their empathic or sensitive little ones?
So I feel like there's kind of like a 3 stages of parenting, and take it with a grain of salt because I am not a parenting expert, and I also don't have teenage kids. So the first stage is structure, and the second stage is sort of adaptability, creativity, and then the third structure is safety net. So going through, and in different aspects of their life, some of these things will last longer than others. So when you have young children, it's like, okay, let's have a structure. We're going to go to bed at this time. We're going to have this many stories. These days are going to be bath nights. This is what you do before you go to sleep. And in the morning, we're going to get up, and this is kind of going to be our routine. So that they, there's sort of this magical, like, anything is possible with kids. But if they don't have structure, it doesn't have anything to build upon. But then you also need to show them that that structure is just for their needs. So if their needs change, the structure changes, which is where we get into with the creativity part, with the adaptability part. So show them the places where this can be changed, this can't change all that much. Like, you can change what time you eat and sort of how many times you eat in a day. If you're hungry, we'll have snack at this time and we'll have meals at this time, but we do not have the option where we do not eat. So having that both that structure, but then showing them that there's adaptability, and the adaptability goes off of their needs. And then as they get older, you want to show them that this is now their life. This is, they get to color this coloring book however they want to, but you will always be there to catch them if they need somebody to catch them when they're falling, or to give them support when they're unsure, so that they feel secure enough to take risks where risks are needed, and you will always be there for them. So I'm not entirely certain if that is sort of what you mean by hack, but I feel like it's a really good thing to have. So find ways to put structure in their lives, but show them that that structure is there for them. And if it doesn't fit their needs, they change it to meet their needs. You do not shove them into the structure for convenience.
Loved how you said they need structure, but then also give them the choices. Because it makes them feel empowered when you give them choices on certain items. So,
and give them the choices that are safe too. So if you need to leave the house, and that's not the option of whether or not they leave the house, give them the options of, do you want to wear your sandals or do you want to wear your shoes? Do you want to wear a hat or sunglasses, or do you want to put your hair up? Or give them options where it's safe for them to make any of the decisions, and it still kind of goes along with what you need to do for the day.
Yes, perfect. So those were the 3 questions that I was going to share today. Was there anything else that came up for you that you would like to tell us about?
Yes, so I actually want to talk to the parents instead of talking about the kids. So if you are here and you are listening to this video, it means you are a good parent. Just bask in that for a second. I feel like we don't just own that. If you care and you are making strides to even better yourself as a parent, you are a good parent. So own that for a second here. One of the greatest gifts we can give our kids is making mistakes in front of them and showing them how it's done. So we have sort of this view of we're supposed to get it perfect and we're supposed to get just right and we're supposed to get Pinterest perfect so we can post all these photos and people will think we're good parents. But that's not actually what kids need. They need to see you real. They need to see what happens when you make a mistake and how you rectify that mistake. I mean, imagine trying to raise a kid where they never fell, never got a bruise or a bump or a scrape ever in their lives. Can you imagine how their lives would be? Like, they'd never do anything. They'd never take any risks. And what kind of life would that be? So on emotional levels, on other levels, we need to show kids how they can make mistakes and then how they can go through to fix those mistakes or to learn from those mistakes. And they will see how to do that by watching you. And so if you do something like, oh, I yelled at my kid that, and I'm hoping that they don't feel bad, go and show them how to apologize. Apologize to your kid. I do it every once in a while where I'm like, you know what? I lost my patience there for a minute and I'm really sorry and I love you and I hope that you'll forgive me. And then you teach them how to forgive the other person. And it's so much more important than getting it right is showing them how to get it wrong.
I love it. I love it. That's such an important lesson to learn and to teach. Well, I can't begin to tell you how much I appreciate you for offering us your knowledge on parenting and what works best for you. So for the rest of you watching, thank you so much for your support. It means the world to me. If you have a sensitive or empathic child and like to share what works best with your precious ones, leave it in the description box down below for me. I'd love to hear all about it. Until next time, keep on sparkling. They did. I would, if I couldn't get engagement, like they were tuning me out, because some things you teach are really boring. I would just pull out those scented markers and someone would give an answer and I'd pull out a scented marker and I'd give them a smiley face and they'd be like,
And then I had those markers as a kid. I just huff them.
They would do anything for those scented markers. I mean, there's other things I used in the classroom too, but that was just one of the things that I used.